What's happening? What's the business? It's your boy Landlord from Alabama, spinning back with another video. And today, I want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys versus the Denver Broncos. And the threats they pose to us and the threats that we gonna dish out to them. So, first I want to start off with the way they started the season, which was, it seemed impressive until you get in depth into who they was playing and how they was playing. Okay, so first they started out 3-0, and they played the Giants, then they played the Jaguars, and then the Jets. Those aren't no world beaters. They ain't no all-star team, no Super Bowl contending type team. And like they pretty much just bad. They pretty trash, you know what I'm saying, to be honest. So, they playing the Giants, the Jets, and the Jaguars. And for one, that's two rookie quarterbacks who very inexperienced. So, they look to seem like they have like some good defensive numbers. But to me, it's all a mirage, it's all a facade. It's really not valid in my opinion when you take into account the teams that they play. They played the rookie Zach Wilson with the Jets. Then they played the rookie Trevor Lawrence with the Jaguars. And then, pretty much Daniel Jones played like a rookie, in my opinion. The Giants are just pretty terrible. So they started out the season with 3 victories against 3 pretty pitiful teams, if you ask me. So, I don't really give them too much credit for being those terrible teams. But, then again, they did start 3-0. So you got to give them some kind of love for that. So they started off with those 3 teams. But then the teams that they played that was actually a formidable opponent, like the Steelers and the Ravens and the Browns, they lost to all those teams. And they just beat Washington. So the only wins, half of their wins came off the terrible NFC East. Off the Giants and the Washingtons. You know what I'm saying? The Washington whatever. So that's half of their wins. They're 4-4 team, you know what I'm saying? But they lost against any type of formidable team, they lost. So they lost to the Raiders. The Raiders put up 34 points on them. And that's like the best offense they played, probably, that's even anywhere near our type of offense. And they played the Ravens. They're a pretty good offense, but they predominantly run. You know what I'm saying? They got throwing. Lamar Jackson can throw, but he's not the best. They don't have the best aerial attack. You know what I'm saying? So you look at that, they couldn't hang with those teams, with the teams that was actually a football team. They struggled and they basically lost. So they got 3 bad wins and now 4 bad wins and 4 bad losses. So, that kind of sums up what I feel like they are as a whole, as a team, you know what I'm saying? But we can break down and get to their individual players on the offensive side. We can look at their starting quarterback, QB1, Teddy Bridgewater. And Teddy is a well-traveled quarterback. He's been to a few teams, over the years. And I'm hoping that Dak Prescott get to play this game because, Teddy actually beat Dak, beat the Cowboys when he was with New Orleans. And, it's a lot of hoodoo, voodoo type stuff that go on in New Orleans and in that Superdome. They might put the root on you. So, anything can happen when you play the New Orleans Saints. But he was able to pull out a win against us while he was a member of the Saints. So I hope Dak can play because I'm sure Dak want to get his get back. He want to get his lick back against Teddy Bridgewater. So, Teddy a pretty decent quarterback. He having a pretty decent year. He throw for like 1,900 and some yards right now. And he got 13 touchdown passes and like 5 interceptions. So he been playing pretty decent. He's not no world beater. He's not gonna beat you. Like it take a team effort for him to beat you. But we ain't gotta worry about Teddy Bridgewater just killing our defense and just winning this game for them. He's just not gonna lose it for them. So you got to get that type of perspective when you're looking at Teddy Bridgewater. So okay, we look at Teddy Bridgewater. Like I said, he's a decent quarterback and he's playing decent. So now we move on to the running back position, Melvin Gordon. You know, he got a name that's pretty decent. You know, his face card pretty good in the NFL. Like you say his name, pretty most people will think he's a pretty decent running back. You know, he's got a pretty nice start to his season right now. It's okay. You know, he's not a top five back like, like Zeke, but he's at a decent little level. He got like 397 yards, and he only got like he averaging like 4 or 5, like 4 yards a carry, 4.5 yards a carry right now. So, you know, and to put that into perspective, like he got 397 yards, and Tony Pollard right there on his heels, like a back that's our second back that gets half of the carries that he has, and he right there on his heels. So, you know, Melvin Gordon got like 397, and like I think Tony Pollard got like 392. So basically, they putting up the same amount of production. So okay, Melvin Gordon is a decent back, not a scary back. I'm not afraid of him at all. Our defense should be able to keep him, you know, under wrap. So okay, we move on to the wide receiver position, and to me, they number one wide receiver. The wide receiver that Teddy Bridgewater looked for the most is Cortland Sutton. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I think that's who I want Trayvon Diggs following and shadowing this game. Because it seems like anytime Teddy get in a little trouble, he looking straight for Cortland Sutton. And, you know, Cortland having a pretty nice year. You know what I'm saying? He got like 579 yards, and I think he got like 2 TDs. That's about it right now. So he's not that productive on the touchdown end, but from what I seen on film when I went back and watched some of their games, he's the chain mover. He keeps the chains moving. And, he's a pretty good number one wide receiver for them. And to me, I must admit, they other wide receiver, Jared Judy, with me being a Bama fan, like Jared Judy was a great weapon for my Alabama team. So I have to eat my crow on this, but during the draft, I did want Jared Judy over Lamb. So I guess I was wrong right now because it looked like Judy is not having the type of career that CD is. So I'm not a perfect person. I admit when I'm wrong, and I did prefer Jared Judy over CD Lamb, probably because I was on my homers type vibes. But it is what it is. Lamb look like he's much better than Judy at this point. And from what I see, it's like Judy ain't even really getting utilized over there. So maybe it's not all him. Maybe it's parts of the offense or whatever. But, that's their problem. That's their team. Okay, you go to the tight end position. They got Noah Fant. And from what I seen, it's unfortunate, but he on the COVID protocol right now. So he's probably going to be out this game. So that's one thing we don't have to worry about. But I'm sure, like, tight ends are mostly a security blanket for most quarterbacks. So Teddy going to miss Noah Fant. That's a fact. So he got, decent production this year. I think he got like 300 and some yards, and he got 3 touchdown catches. So he definitely was a target in the red zone and stuff. So, Teddy going to pretty much miss Noah Fant this game, and I'm pretty sure with him being under the protocol that he probably going to miss this game. So, okay, I cover most of the offensive weapons, man, and I think it's time to move to the defense, even though I haven't did a deep dive into their offensive line. But from the overall statistics, they giving up a lot of pressure. So our defensive line should be able to dominate some of these tackles and these guards they got, because they're definitely not no type of world beater. So, okay, we can move on to the defensive side of the ball. And, the big breaking news the other day, Von Miller got traded to the Rams. So You know, Von Miller, he was a staple, a core player type player for these teams. You know what I'm saying? He was a milestone legacy type player for the Denver Broncos. He got the most sacks in franchise history. So, that's a big loss for them, even though he's on the back end of his career. But, that's a big loss when you lose a Von Miller. You know what I'm saying? So, fortunately for us, we don't have to deal with Von Miller this week. We might have to deal with him on down the line with that Rams team, but this week we pretty much Von Miller free, so we ain't got to worry about it. So that's a big loss for that defense. So hopefully that'll weaken that defensive line, and we might be able to get a little better pass pro and a little better run block without dealing with Von Miller. Excuse me. And you know now we can move on to Pat Surtain. You know, as I alluded to earlier, Pat is a Bama prospect. So, I like the Pat. So, Pat Surtain Jr., the second, I believe. So, he's a very, very good corner. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us in Cowboy Nation wanted Pat Surtain over Michael Parsons. So, that was the pick that everybody thought was going to fall to the Dallas Cowboys. And look, we just got a blessing for heaven that it was Michael Parsons that was a consolation prize. He was the greatest consolation prize in history, if you ask me. Carolina took the other corner, and Denver jumped ahead and took Surtain right up under our lap. But excuse me, that we don't care about that now that when we see how Michael Parsons is blossoming right in front of our eyes. You know what I'm saying? So I would consider that a wash, if anything. Like Pat Surtain been playing well, but Michael Parsons has been a much more impactful player than just a cornerback. So, I think Cowboy Nation can, rest well that we didn't make a bad decision. Nowhere near a bad decision when we got Michael Parsons instead of Pat Surtain. So, I'm pretty much sure that I feel like this defense is pretty overrated. You know what I'm saying? When you take into consideration that the talent that they played and the teams that they played and all these rookie quarterbacks and bad quarterbacks, any average defense would get their stats boosted against those teams. So, in my opinion, I feel like we should be able to do pretty much anything we want to against the Denver Broncos. And, I might be cocky right now because we've been playing so well, but I really feel like we can do whatever we want against any defense in the league. And, that's just a testament to our dangerous, dangerous offensive weapons that we got, man. We got a stable of weapons. It's really nothing you can do. It's pick your poison. It's death by 1,000 cuts. It's all that. You know what I'm saying? You want to die slow or die fast. You still gotta die when it comes to defending this offense we got, man. Like, and then you got an evil, wicked genius like Kellen Moore moving these chess pieces, man. It's really just nothing defense can do. So I'm just uber ultimate confident when it comes to our offense against anybody. So that's just my little quick little overlook of the Denver Broncos and all the challenges that they possess and the threats that they have against us. So I just wanted to come and holler at y'all, man. We moving on from the win. And it's Broncos time now. We celebrate for a day or two, and now it's on to the Broncos. So, just holler at me, man. LandLord from Alabama on all the internets, all the airways, all the social media sites. It's LandLord from Alabama, man. Just holler at me. 1K, one love, Cowboys Nation, man. Let's go.